Since Rockstar dropped the bomb on us earlier this morning that Red Dead Redemption 2 is getting one final delay until October 26th of 2018, I figured I would break down the screenshots that they released with the Newswire post. Now, some of this stuff is pretty obvious, and you probably would have noticed it in the pictures when you looked over them, but some of it is things that you may have missed because you're not looking out and it's, sort of in the distance or in the corner of the screen, and that's what hopefully this video will accomplish, showing you guys stuff you may not have known. Now, the first thing, and I sort of read over this in the last video, but they did say in the Newswire post, we look forward to sharing a lot more information with you in the coming weeks. Now, two things here. In the coming weeks, Rockstar like to say that a lot. I don't know if they actually know what the term weeks mean, or in the coming weeks mean, because usually they say that and then it takes like 2 months before some new news comes out. But the a lot more information is what's interesting, because what does that mean for Rockstar? One thing that I could see happening this Sunday, the Super Bowl is being played, and this may be a long shot, but maybe we get a new trailer during the Super Bowl. I mean, Rockstar have the sort of money with what they've made from GTA Online, so they can afford a Super Bowl spot. And I mean, what better audience to play a Red Dead Redemption 2 ad in front of than the people who watch the Super Bowl? I mean, like, everyone watches the Super Bowl, so that could be something that actually happens. Now, I don't know if they will do that, but it's a possibility. It is kind of strange how they did release this Newswire post a couple days before the Super Bowl does happen. Whatever the case may be, I do just hope we get some actual information relatively soon. I hope we don't have to wait until the summer to get some new stuff. Now, the screenshots, let's break some stuff down. The first one we got is this one of what I assume to be our main character with 3 random people approaching him on horses. A few things to note. The most obvious one, the sun, the weather, the fog, that just all looks beautiful. But one thing, this could be exaggerated to hide the faces of those people on the horses, and I'll talk more about that when we get to the snow picture, but that is something that could be happening here. They could be waiting to show who these people are. Maybe they are important to the story, maybe they aren't just random people. A couple of other notes. If you take a look at the horse's legs, this is what's somewhat interesting. The horse on the left has much bigger legs than the horse on the right. Now, this could just mean they are different horse breeds, and that's probably the case, but it could be interesting if you could upgrade your horse, so to speak. If you got a horse and you used it, the more you use it, you could level it up, and over time, it gets bigger and it gets faster and stronger. That would be a really cool system in the game, but either way, we are definitely going to be getting some new or some different horse breeds. And then you can also see that in this screenshot, which was from a while ago, but the horses that are carrying the carriage are much bigger than the horse that's just carrying the one person. Another thing from the screenshot, if you look on either the left or the right, you can see these flowers. Now, this doesn't confirm anything, but they look awfully similar to the woolly blue curl flowers from Red Dead Redemption 1. And in that game, what those flowers did was allow you to make some medicine. So this sort of tells me that we're going to be getting that system back in Red Dead 2, where you can pick the flowers and make some medicine. Now, the final thing about this screenshot, and you'll notice this in a few screenshots, I know I'm super excited for the game, and we all are, but there are some negatives to these screenshots or to this game. If we take a look at the ground textures, you'll notice in a lot of these screenshots, the ground textures aren't anything special. They're actually kind of low quality, at least compared to, everything else, and compared to what you think you would get in a game that's coming out, a AAA title game coming out in 2018. Now, this could just be because of the limitations of the Xbox One X and the PS4 or the PS4 Pro, and maybe on the PC, when it gets released, we'll get some higher quality textures, but that is just something I did want to point out. The next screenshot is this one, and this shows a few things. Obviously, it shows him dual wielding. Now, this could be a cutscene just because of what's happening in the background with all the shrapnel It appears that maybe a bomb went off or something exploded, and that's what's causing basically the porch to explode. If it's not a cutscene though, then this is clearly a picture of them showing the environmental damage, or the damage models for the houses and walls, and how they'll be more realistic this time around. Also, this is a place we've seen before. If we take a look at the left, you can see there is somewhat of a black sign, and if we go through some of these other screenshots, we can see that same black sign. So it is the drugstore that we've seen in some of the other screenshots. So that just confirms whatever is happening in the screenshot, it is taking place in that little town. Also, this picture does confirm we can change our character's clothing options. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of us figured that would be the case, but it is just good to see that. And then we have this screenshot, which also I think is another screenshot demonstrating or showing off the environmental damage. Because just like in the last screenshot, we have some crazy shrapnel being thrown around. A couple of other cool things about this picture. If you look at the bottom right, you'll see there's actually bananas. So again, the texture or the level of detail, Rockstar are always on point with that. Then we get to my favorite screenshot, the one of him just overlooking like the valley. And someone pointed out, if you almost took out the horse and the guy, this sort of looks like Skyrim a little bit. And maybe that's why I am just in love with this game, because Skyrim is one of my favorite games of all time. And I just love the world of Skyrim. So if this is anything similar, man, I am all for it. Now, again, to start with the negatives, you can see the ground textures sort of underneath the horse. They're somewhat lacking. That is the downside, I guess, of having games come out on console, but everything else looks beautiful. Now, a couple of things to note about this screenshot that's somewhat important. We are leading the horse by the reins, so it's not like the horse is just wandering off by itself. And that's good news, because if anyone remembers Red Dead Redemption 1, your horse was kind of an idiot. They would just run off all the time. Sometimes they would even get hit by a train. Now, I know a screenshot doesn't really tell us the true or the whole story, but if they made the horse AI a lot better, and if the horses actually follow us, or if we can control where the horses go by leading them wherever, then that will be very, very big. Also, if we take a look at the back of the character, he is actually holding the gun, or he has the gun on his back. And I do believe that's a new feature. Normally, you know, at least in the GTA games, your guns are just, they magically appear. But if we can actually have the gun on our back, that would be very, very cool, because it's immersive. Now, maybe you still have, you know, an unlimited amount of slots for all the weapons, but whatever weapon you last used, maybe that's the one that appears on your back or in your holster. That would be kind of cool. Now, moving to the snow screenshot, what we have in this is a couple of interesting things. And so, like I mentioned at the beginning, the reason the people in the back are blurred is because they could be hiding someone. Maybe John Marston is one of those characters and they don't want us to see him in the picture because they want that to be a surprise. I mean, that would be really awesome if in one of these trailers, just at the very end, they tease John Marston. That would bring my hype levels to a new high. Also, like I mentioned in the last video, you can see the snow is accumulating on their jackets, but it's also accumulating on their boots, because assuming they got off their horses and were walking around, their boots are going to be covered in snow as well. And even though it is snowing and it's probably cold, you can see they're actually crossing what looks to be a river, so the rivers aren't going to be frozen. And one last thing, in all of these snow scenes that they have shown, our characters are bundled up. So that leads me to think that perhaps in the snow, sort of like in real life, you have to bundle up, or maybe you get cold and you can't run as far or as fast. Like maybe it impacts the gameplay in some way. Then we have this screenshot of him and whoever that is in the background. Doesn't really show much in this picture, but another sort of negative. If you look at his arms, they're not that high quality textured. So that's just another thing that sort of sucks. But if we actually look to the left of his arms, you can see he has his rifle, or whatever that gun is, holstered on the horse. So again, if they are going for the realism angle, then that's definitely a really cool feature. You have to put your gun on your horse or you can't carry it. And then the final screenshot is this one, and we can see basically the same thing if we brighten up this picture. You can see the gun is on the horse, and that's pretty much it with this one. There's really not much, because this is basically just a silhouette of our character with the sun, I guess, setting there. But those are the screenshots that were released today. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section. But I'm definitely excited for this game. I know there are some negatives, some people out there hating on some stuff, but overall, I think this game is going to be amazing. I think Rockstar are going to take their game to the next level, and ultimately, I can't wait until we get some more information. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for awesome Red Dead Redemption 2 info and news. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.